Namaste. Dear students, all the living organisms need food, water as well as oxygen. Without the food, we can live for a few days. Without water, we can live for 1 or 2 days. But without oxygen, we cannot live for a 1 minute also. It's very difficult for all the living organisms. Who will provide the oxygen for all the living organisms? That is only plants. Plants provides the oxygen for all the living organisms. So plants are very important for all the living organism life. Here the plant it takes the carbon dioxide as well as it gives the oxygen. So we call it as a natural purifiers of the air. So air is purified by the plant because the carbon dioxide is one of the dangerous gas. So that carbon dioxide is utilized by the plant and they give the oxygen back to the atmosphere. As well as the plants also provide the food for all the living organisms. To survive, we require the food as well as the oxygen that both the plants will provide. That's why the plants are called producers because they produce their own food. When they produce their own food, they won't utilize that all the food for themselves. They will give that food to the other living organisms. In the same way, when they give the oxygen, they won't utilize all the oxygen for themselves. They will give for the atmosphere. So, in this chapter, we can learn how they will produce the food, how they will release the oxygen, that is a photosynthesis process, and its importance of photosynthesis process as well as the two phases will come, light phases as well as dark phase. That is very important, that also we are studying in this chapter. First we can study definition of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which living plant cells containing chlorophyll produce food substances, that is in the form of glucose and starch, from carbon dioxide and water by using light energy. Plants release oxygen as a byproduct. This process is called photosynthesis. Now for the photosynthesis, the chlorophyll is important, water is important, carbon dioxide is important, as well as light energy is also important. Along with the food, they releases the oxygen. Oxygen is very essential for all the organisms for the breathing purpose. Next we can focus importance of photosynthesis. First one is food for all. Means it provides the food. All animals including humans ultimately depend on plants for food. A herbivore consumes the plant directly, while carnivores they consume herbivores. Carnivores indirectly depends on plants. Here one organism is eaten by another organism is called food chain. In our environment, we can see many food chains, and these food chains are interconnecting to each other, that we call as a food web. In the food chain as well as in the food web, the starting point is always plants. Plants are producers because they produce their own food through the photosynthesis process. That's why in the food chain as well as in the food web, starting point is always plant. Non-green plants such as fungi and bacteria, they obtain their nourishment from decaying organic matter. This matter comes from dead animals and plants. Again, these fungi and bacteria depends on plants. That is photosynthesis process. Second importance of photosynthesis provides oxygen. The life supporting gas. Oxygen is a life supporting gas. It is present in the atmosphere in a free state only because of photosynthesis. Appearance of green plants set the stage for the animals to appear. Almost all organisms need oxygen for respiration. Without oxygen, we cannot live. So that's why plants, through the photosynthesis process, provides food as well as oxygen for all the living organisms. Next, we can focus structure of chloroplast. Chloroplast are minute oval bodies bounded by a double membrane structure. This oval body is located in the mesophyll cells between the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis, that is in palisade cells and spongy cells. These mesophyll cells present in the leaves. These are also found in the guard cells of stomata and in the outer layers of young green stems. Now, location of chloroplast is present in the mesophyll cells of the leaf. Mesophyll cells present between the upper and lower epidermis of the leaf, and it also present in the guard cells of stomata as well as outer layers of young green stems. These are the locations of chloroplast. The chloroplast, it has two membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane. And in the inner membrane, it contains closely packed flattened sacs that we call as a thylakoids. These thylakoids are arranged one above the another like a piles, or we can keep the coins one above the another. How we can see the stock of coins? So like this structure we can see, that we call as a grana. And in the chloroplast, we can see the colorless ground substances that we call as a stroma. Don't confuse the word stoma and stroma, they both are different. Here colorless ground substances is called as stroma. In the stroma, we can see the ribosomes, chromatin materials, etc. we can see. And the pigment chlorophyll, it is present on the wall of thylakoids. Only on the wall of thylakoids we can see this chlorophyll pigment. And this chlorophyll pigment, it's composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen as well as magnesium. This carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, magnesium is very essential for the formation of chlorophyll pigment. If suppose chlorophyll is highly sensitive, chlorophyll is highly sensitive to light. Okay, so if too much light, it will destroy the chlorophyll. So that's why the high light intensity is dangerous, as well as low light intensity also dangerous for the plant body. If the light intensity is very high, it destroys the chlorophyll substances. If the light intensity is very less, especially in the shade, under the shade we can see the some of the plants which they grow, their leaves are yellowish in color. So it may be because of the lack of chlorophyll pigment. For the formation of chlorophyll pigment, the sunlight is also very essential. Next, we can focus regulation of stomatal opening for letting in carbon dioxide. Stomata are minute openings occur in large numbers on the lower surface of a leaf. The main function of the stomata is let in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, means it allow the entering of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. At the same way, it also allow the oxygen going out from the plant body. Here in the concept of stomata, in the concept of photosynthesis, we can see the functions of stomata. So when it is in dark, they tend to close their openings so that water loss is minimized from the leaves through transpiration. So when there is in dark, means especially at night, the stoma is always closing condition. So it is one of the benefit for the transpiration process. It reduces the transpiration process. When there is a light, as after sunrise, they reopen to allow CO2, means carbon dioxide, to diffuse in. So when there is a sunrise, especially during daytime, stoma is always in open condition. So this help the exchange of the respiratory gases, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen. But in the same time, the rate of transpiration also increases because stoma is in a open condition. So due to this process, one can say that transpiration is the price which the plant pays for photosynthesis. Here in the stoma you can observe two layers we can see. They have thick inner wall as well as the thin outer wall. Now we can study two theories of opening and closing of stomata. The first one, potassium ion concentration theory or K plus ion concentration theory. This is the recent theory. The stomatal opening and closing depend on the generation of potassium ion gradient. During daytime, the chloroplast in the guard cells photosynthesis, which leads to the production of ATP. ATP nothing but adenosine triphosphate, energy currency of the cell. This ATP is used to actively pump the potassium ions of the adjacent cells into the guard cells. Increased K plus ion concentration in the guard cells makes them hypertonic. Hypertonic means more ion concentration, less water concentration. You know, the water moves from higher concentration to lower concentration region. So, more water from the adjacent cells is drawn in, means the more water from the adjacent cell, it moves inside the guard cell. So when the water moves inside the guard cell, the cell become more turgid. And when the cell become more turgid, the inner thick wall of the guard cell, it stretches outward direction. When it stretches outward, it creates a small pore that we call as a stomatal pore. So this takes place during the daytime. But at night, reverse takes place. Means the K plus ions leak out, means the K plus ion comes out from the guard cell and reducing the turgor of the guard cell. Means guard cell loses its turgidity and cells undergo the flaccid condition. When the cells undergo flaccid condition, the inner thick wall of the guard cell, it moves close to each other. So stomatal pore closes. This takes place at night. Second theory, sugar concentration theory. This is called as an old theory. According to the sugar concentration theory, during daytime, the guard cells begin photosynthesis and the sugar, means the glucose produced during the process. When the sugar is produced more amount, it increases the osmotic pressure which draws in water from the adjoining cells due to endosmosis. Endosmosis means water moves from outside to inside the cell through semi-permeable membrane. Here the more sugar will produced in the guard cell, so water content will become less. So water moves from higher to lower concentration. So in the adjoining cell, the water concentration is more when compared to guard cell. That's why the water moves from adjoining cell to the guard cells. So that we call as a endosmosis process. So then guard cells undergo the turgid condition. Again the inner thick wall of the guard cell, it stretches outward direction, so it creates a pore that we call as a stomatal pore, and through this stomatal pore exchange of the gases takes place during the daytime. Next, closing of the stomata. If for any reason the water content of the leaf is falling short, the water is drawn out of the guard cells due to exosmosis. Exosmosis means movement of water molecules from inside to outside the cell. Exo means going out. Due to exosmosis, making them flaccid. So, when the guard cell loses its water content, the guard cell undergo the flaccid condition. As a result, their inner thick wall straighten to close the stomata. The inner thick wall becomes straight and it closes the stomata. So, this is the sugar concentration theory. Now, we can come to know process of photosynthesis. The mesophyll cells of the leaf, especially palisade and spongy cells, which is together we call as the mesophyll cells of the leaf, are the principal centers of this activity. During daytime, when sunlight falls on the leaf, the light energy is trapped by the chlorophyll of the upper layer of mesophyll, especially palisade cells. Palisade cells contains a chlorophyll pigment. This chlorophyll pigment traps the sunlight. This energy is utilized in chemical process involved in the manufacture of food, and they also require carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide from the atmosphere enters the leaf by diffusion down a concentration gradient through the stomata. Means through the stomata, carbon dioxide is moved from higher concentration to lower concentration. In the atmosphere, there is a more concentration of carbon dioxide. It enters inside the plant body through the stomata. Next, how they will get the water. Water from the soil is taken up by the roots, sent up through the stem, and finally to the leaves, where it is distributed in the mesophyll tissue. So, water from the root will take the water from the soil, then it is sent to the stem, then it goes to the leaf. It you already studied in the absorption by root chapter. And you can see the chemical equation of the process, photosynthesis process. The glucose molecule, that is C6H12O6, is a simple sugar. It is readily soluble in water. Here, plant utilize the carbon dioxide and water in the presence of light energy and chlorophyll, and they produces glucose molecules. Along with the glucose molecules, oxygen and water also form. Here, the 6 molecule of water is liberated at the end of the process are those that are reformed during a chain of reactions and not out of the original ones. They are reformed. Water molecules, they are reformed. And they also releases the oxygen as a byproduct. Today's class, we have studied definition of photosynthesis and the structure of chloroplast, about the chlorophyll also, as well as the regulation of opening and closing of stomata. In that, two theories will come: K plus ion concentration theory as well as the sugar concentration theory. And you have studied the process of photosynthesis, where the photosynthesis actually takes place and how it takes place. About that you have studied, and its equation is important. You have studied the equation of photosynthesis. This concept you have studied in today's class, and at the end I have given some of the questions. You have to solve that questions, and some questions also available in the textbook at the end of the chapter. That questions also you have to solve.